Howdy y'all. Back today with what I hope will be a quick one. Sudden inspiration to do this thing. And it's based in my recent gift to my friend, our friend, Patrick Luther Manning. I recently sent him my off-the-rack copy of a beloved childhood book, which he showed in his last video from 5 days ago or something, his weekend review. And it awakened a couple of thoughts in me. Number one, that off-the-rack Conan 28 was actually the second of my most beloved childhood books that I sent to Patrick. A few months ago, I sent him my off-the-rack copy of Captain America 159. And yeah, Patrick, how about it? They make a nice little set, right? Yeah. I sent them to Patrick because he's a real good buddy of mine. Even though we've never met face to face, he's become a real good buddy of mine. Patrick is a solid man, an honorable man, an admirable man. And I know when I send these beloved books that I've had in my possession that have my childhood fingerprints on them, figuratively and quite literally, I know they're going to a good place. And I suppose that brings me to the first point I want to make. And I think I've made this point before, but I'll reiterate it here today. I've seen some videos lately where people seem to, a few years or a decade or whatever into their collecting now, they're beginning to kind of reshape how they collect. And I've heard a lot of chatter about thinning out the herd, gathering to gather some bucks to actually purchase some of the bigger keys or pricier books and things like that. The books that really mean something to the collectors that are going to start pursuing them and all that. And yeah, that's a fine approach, really, to your collecting future. It's all an evolution. I've been at this for 50 years, so I know about how everything evolves. And the point is, for those of y'all out there that might be thinking along those same lines, but you're hesitant to kind of take the dive because you have books that you think you might want to part with, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. Take the plunge, man. Do it as an experiment. Take a book or two that, you're on the fence about, you want to keep, but, just take the plunge, man. Just do it. Put it out there. Sell it. Let the chips fall where they may. And if your experience in getting rid of these things that you think you'll never ever be able to part with, if your experience is anything like mine, you'll be pleasantly surprised what you can part with in your possessions, whether it be comic books or anything else in your world. You'll be pleasantly surprised how the pain goes away very, very quickly. So me giving Patrick these beloved off-the-rack childhood books hasn't been, the terrible, torturous decision or anything. I began in the very same way that I just recommended to y'all. I took a book or two that I thought I would just never, ever be able to part with, and I parted with it. And, there's a little sting. There is a sting when you take it to the post office and ship it out and you go, bye. But I swear to God, man, for me, it was like 3, 4, 5 days later, I was like, what was that? What was that book? What did I just send out? You will be amazed at how quickly all that goes away. Again, if your experience is anything like mine. And always take comfort in the fact that whatever you just got rid of, you can always get it back. Now, my childhood books, my off-the-rack childhood books, sure, I can get them back, not those exact copies. So you have to factor that in too. But the reason why it was so easy for me, and even fun for me at this point, to send Patrick some of my most beloved off-the-rack books is it's fun for me, and it's gratifying to me, and it's satisfying to me, because number one, I know they're going to the best home they can possibly go to, and it's almost like you do take control. There's a gratification in taking control of what happens to these beloved things. It's not just all going to be down to fate, after you're gone or whatever. There's an empowerment in, I'm going to give Patrick my Captain America 159 and my Conan 28. I'm in control of what happens to those books, and I hope I'm not convoluting the message by rambling too much or whatever, but there is some gratification in knowing that you have control in what is going to become of your most beloved treasures. And there is nothing more that I have in this world more beloved to me than my off-the-rack childhood books. So there is that testing thing there. And I came to quickly discover that if I can get rid of these most beloved artifacts of my life, I can get rid of anything, man. There's a much broader message to be had, a much broader lesson to be learned in all this. Okay, did I have a second point? No, I suppose not. But Patrick, yeah, man, I do ask that you keep these Dr. Von Chilla books together, these off-the-rack Dr. Von Chilla books together. Because when the day comes that you're going to thin down your herd, I would like you to send those books on their way as kind of a lot. You've got 2 of them now, and you may end up with a few more, but I would appreciate it, bud, if you would kind of keep them all together and move them on in that very same way. They've been together for 40, 45 years or whatever, and I like to think that they will continue to stay together. Oh yeah, there is something else. Yeah, I know. In the last few years I've sold a bunch of my off the rack books on eBay. There's one buyer out there in particular that, oh my God, he's probably got 50 or 60 of my off the rack books. And actually, I know that he passed one of those books on to Anthony. He gifted one of those books. It was my off the rack copy of Green Lantern, Green Arrow '89. He passed that on to Anthony. So yeah, Reaper Tate has got my off the rack Green Lantern, Green Arrow '89 out there. Now Nick, yeah, my buddy Nick. Even though Nick and I have gifted a lot of books to each other over the last few years, I don't think that Nick has any of my off the rack childhood books. I know he's got a few of my Koch Warehouse purchases from the late 80s. He's got some stuff like that, but I don't think Nick has any of my childhood off the rack stuff. Nonetheless, I digress. Yeah, let my experience be a lesson. If you want to shift gears and you don't think you can get rid of something, it's just too much for you, throw an experimental book out there and see what you learn from that, right? Okay, I guess that's it today, folks. So I'll see you later. Bye bye.